Hey everybody, Adam here for True North Wilds, and this is the Hookup. It occurred to me recently that I have been favoring in my reviews only lures that I actually really like and have had a lot of success with. So today that's going to change. I have the Strike Pro jointed crankbait. I got this in one of my boxes from Simple Fishing. Simplefishing.ca, to check them out, is one of the extremely rare times that I've been disappointed with a lure that I got from them. And I can't even blame them for sending it, because on paper and looking at this, it looks like it would be a good lure. Unfortunately, I spent a lot of time testing this lure, trying to catch fish on it without success. This is easily one of the worst jointed crankbaits, or crankbaits in general, that I have used. And it's slightly bizarre to me because I've used a ton of other Strike Pro lures and absolutely loved them. Something went wrong in this in the design of this lure, or also possible is I just got a lemon. Either way, I spent a lot of time using this lure. I spent a lot of time very, very frustrated with this lure. It has a nice hard body for the first third of it, and then the rest, of course, is jointed. So it's a nice smooth joint. I will give it that. It does have a lot of movement in the joints, so you do get a really good jointed action. I'll give it that. The color as well is really nice. I'll give it that as well. I was really excited to throw this because it has this nice golden color, the blue stripe down the side, and the silver belly with the holographic foil in to give it a lot of flash. The gold is flashy, the silver is flashy, it has a dark top, so you get that bait fish pattern of dark and light bottom. The profile seems good. Everything about this on paper, like I said, and holding it, it looks like it should work really well. The story changed very quickly when I actually got it on the water. This lure is poorly designed for casting. It's a sinking lure, so I'll say that off the start. It's a sinking lure. It also has this dive bill to keep it down where you sink it to. The problem is every time I would cast it out and let it sink, so the line attaches here, so my line would be here, and as it would sink, the head would sink down, and it would always fold up and over. The tail end floats higher than the head end, and the tail treble hook would always hook onto my line almost every cast. If I could almost replicate it 100%. When I realized what was happening, I could cast it out and let it sink and almost always replicate that effect of the head sinking down and the tail end floating up and then hooking it onto the line and fouling it. I know that that's what was happening because I did the same thing beside my kayak in the water to verify for myself that that was indeed what was happening. And I could see it clear as day, right beside me, let it sink down. If I just let line out and let it drop straight down beside me, it would sink a certain distance under the water, and that's what would happen. I don't have footage of that because it was under the water where I can't easily record. But knowing that when I let it sink, it would do that, I tried then to cast it and just retrieve it at a fairly shallow depth and just not let that happen. When I did that, when it worked well. The joints worked well when it worked. The problem is, when I did that, I went from, so if I let it sink, it was pretty much every cast it would foul. When I just retrieved it quickly without letting it sink, it was every third cast it would foul on itself. And however it did that, it would swing around, both hooks would end up on the line, it would get tangled up a lot of times. The hook would get tangled up inside the joints just from the swimming action. It would get tangled up on the line, and just the hooks themselves would get tangled up on each other because it's so flexible with these joints that they would just wrap around and then hook each other. So just all in all, it was every third cast at a minimum. Sometimes it was every second cast. Sometimes I cast 4 or 5 times in a row and was fouled every time. So very, very frustrating to do that. I really, really wanted to catch some fish on this, so I kept using it. It was frustrating, but I kept putting it out into the water. Fish did go after this, so I will say that for it. It did attract fish. I had pike go after this. I had a big walleye go after this. I had a big lake trout go after this. The problem that I had with this is that nothing would stay hooked. I noticed that it's this different, it's not the nickel hooks, it's this sort of white metal. I don't know if it just isn't as sharp. It feels sharp, but something about these hooks, I don't know if the bend in them isn't right. I could not keep any fish hooked on here. I had pike on here. You don't even have to hook pike. Pike will just grab onto something and hold on and let you reel them into the boat. I could not get them hooked on this thing. I had a big walleye on here that went after it, and I was watching it in the water. It was shallow, it was in the spring, it was cold water. I watched it come. I had it on the line, I had my drag set properly. As I was reeling, as soon as it saw me on the boat, it just spit it out. It wasn't even hooked. I had the same problem with a big lake trout. Got a big lake trout on the line. It dived, I fought with it for a little bit. As soon as it saw me and the boat, it just spit the hook. I could not keep anything hooked on this lure. I don't know what the deal is with these hooks. I did get it stuck in a couple logs, and it hooked really well into those. And it also hooks really well when it does hook itself in the joints. It's a real pain to get out. Those stayed really well hooked. So, all in all, I never did catch anything on this lure. I don't think, I might have gotten one pike in the boat just because they're so aggressive. But I don't even remember that, because what I'm remembering is all the failures of this lure. So I can definitely recommend that you avoid this one. Don't go out and buy this. It's a rare miss from Strike Pro, because I like a lot of their other stuff. Definitely a very rare miss for the Simple Fishing box, because I haven't had any other lure in the Simple Fishing box that I haven't liked, like I do with this one. So all in all, I just think it was a poorly designed lure, and you know, they can't all be winners. What can I say, right? Leave a comment down below. Let me know if you've used this and if you had the same experience. Maybe, like I said, I just got a lemon. Maybe something is just loose in here. Maybe something just isn't set right. That is a possibility. So let me know in the comments what you think, and if I'm wrong. I always like to read that sort of feedback. Hit those buttons down there. Like and subscribe. Helps me out a lot for the channel. Don't forget you can follow us on Facebook. Facebook.com/TrueNorthWilds. On Instagram at TrueNorthWilds, and our blog site, TrueNorthWilds.com. If you want to check out the Simple Fishing RLM Elite Pike boxes, which I highly recommend, even though this was a miss, literally every other lure I've gotten has been pretty awesome. Every box that I've gotten overall has been really awesome. You can check them out, simplefishing.ca. If you like what you see, use promo code TrueNorth for a 15% discount on your first subscription. Just don't order this individually from Strike Pro, is all I'm saying. Thanks for watching, and until next time, I will see you outside.